Chapter 3. Abdul was sitting in his chair when Yusuf headed upstairs. "Are you going to ignore your father? Have I lost all honor in your eyes?" As the head of the home, Abdul demanded respect from his children. "I'm sorry, Father. I didn't mean any disrespect." "Assalamu alaikum," he said, bending over to kiss his father on the cheek. "Wa alaikum salam," he responded, and lightly smacked Yusuf on the back of the head. "Now sit and tell me what my son has been doing all day." Abdul was a demanding father, but fair. He loved his children and wanted the best for each of them. As a practical man, he appreciated Yusuf's love for football, but saw it as a waste of time. His son was good, but not good enough to play on the national team, and that was the only place a football player could earn a living. Therefore, he fruitlessly encouraged Yusuf to explore other career options. "I was with Basar," Yusuf offered. "Is that all? Just with Basar?" Abdul waited for a response. Since one was not forthcoming, he continued, "I am sure you were kicking the football around." He paused again. "Yusuf, I know you think I do not approve of your activities, but you are wrong. You work hard on your skills, and you are talented, but only a few make the national team. As I have said countless times, you need to seek another avenue for work." Yusuf waited for the next line, and he wasn't disappointed. "Follow your brother's example. Omar is becoming an imam. I don't expect you to do that, but there are other worthy careers for you to pursue." Yusuf sat silently, trying not to let his mind wander. Abdul let out a sigh and finished, "I hope you will take what I have said to heart." "I always do, Father." He stood and went to his room. Yusuf hated sharing a bedroom with his brother and was glad to find it empty. Omar was always watching him and correcting him when he made mistakes. For a while, at least, he could have some privacy. As he fell back on his bed, he glimpsed a pamphlet on his brother's night table. Omar didn't like Yusuf prying into his business, but he could not avoid the word on the cover, Jihad. Yusuf sat up and checked to make sure the door was shut, and then he picked up the pamphlet. 3 stages of Jihad. Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, and those who are with him are severe against disbelievers and merciful among themselves. What was his brother up to? Yusuf heard footsteps coming down the hall and quickly tossed the pamphlet back in its place. Omar opened the door, glanced at Yusuf, and noticed the pamphlet was not where he had left it. Picking it up, he asked, "Did you learn anything? I can tell you looked at it." There was not any use lying. "What are you getting yourself into, Omar? Does Father know?" Imam El-Gharib says that following in the way of Allah is the course for all good Muslims. It is not my concern if Father approves or disapproves. He knows that I follow Imam El-Gharib and has given his blessing. The blessing of the man is the blessing of his words. He held up the pamphlet and asked again, "Did you learn anything?" "All I read was the title. I would give you the pamphlet to read, but I don't think you would understand its depth. However, if you are truly interested in following Allah, I invite you to join me to listen to the Imam. Just think how proud Father would be." "I don't know." "Don't know what? Are you afraid of seeking Allah's will? Imam El-Gharib says, whoever treads an oath seeking knowledge, Allah will make easy for him the path to paradise. Are you afraid you might find paradise? Just come and listen one time." Yusuf did want to make his father proud, yet all this talk about jihad didn't sit well. He had seen the television reports and read the newspaper. There was no way he was going to blow himself up for those radical people. However, was he really any different than his brother? Hadn't his meeting with Carl proved that? "I don't know. Let me think about it." Thinking is good, but not too long. The Imam speaks again this Friday. There was a knock on the door, and their sister Saham called them for dinner. Yusuf was thankful for the reprieve. As usual, the maid cooked the dinner. Seated on the floor around a plastic cloth, they shared their meal from common bowls. Scooping his food into his right hand, Yusuf enjoyed the delicious mixture of grain, vegetables, and meat. The conversation was light as his mother talked about the baby's antics. Fatima crawled around on the floor and continuously disrupted everyone's meal. No one minded. She was the center of attention and loved it. "How was your day, husband?" she asked. Abdul was always ready to talk about matters most important to him. "Our company has hired several new people to help with oil production. It seems a little premature if you ask me. Their expertise is welcome, but I believe we can handle these matters on our own." "It sounds like the government's typical response. Ask the West for help. All Americans want to do is steal our resources." Omar was animated as he talked. "It seems like we are handing over too much authority, but the king won't allow a buyout. What irritates me is that I have been placed under this American. I can't believe I have to report to him. I have been with the company all my life and know how its systems run better than anyone else. He should be working for me." "I think you should say something, Father. What good is Ummah if it is set aside when a kafir invades our home?" Omar asked. "I would only be punished for complaining," Abdul responded. "I don't think they are invading us. Didn't we ask them to help?" Yusuf's attempt to participate. "Yes, we invited them, but their motives are not pure," Abdul explained. "Before there was oil, no one cared about us. We have endured one conqueror and then another. If we are not careful, we will be overrun by people wanting to help." "You're right, Father. Our history is full of people whose desire was to rule over us. Alexander the Great, the Romans, the Christians invaded our lands for one reason or another. We would be better off left to ourselves. No, we would be better if we fought against their imperialism." If Omar waved his hands any more, he would take off like an airplane. "I'm not sure it is that bad, my son, and we are better to fight a holy war of ideas and faith, not guns," Abdul tempered. "Talk is cheap. If we are to do the will of Allah, then we need to see the world submit to him. We won't see that happen with ideas and words," Omar said. "It would be better for you to remember, Omar, Luqman 31:19. Do not shout. Speak politically, keeping your voice low." Abdul laughed. Not to be undone, Omar recited, "When you voice an opinion, be just, even if it is against a relative." "You have learned well," Abdul conceded. "If only everyone at the table had your zeal." Yusuf could feel his father's sideway glance. "But enough of such talk. We live in a day where we have to put up with the kafir. There will be a time when it will not be so. Inshallah. That time may come sooner than you think, Father." Omar gave Yusuf a knowing glance and smiled.